My father was a photographer. He taught me how to work in a darkroom and spent hours playing around in the darkroom. I just got a love of photography really early on. I wanted to tell stories and I wanted to make people feel emotional. Schmigadoon is about a couple who are bored in the real world and they want to go back into this musical fantasy land. They're hoping to go back to the musical fantasy land of season 1. But they end up in a town called Chicago, which is darker and seedier. It's combined with hair and Godspell and many other genres, so there's so many different looks within this film. Bells and Whistles might be my favorite performance on the show. We all fell in love with Jane. There was a real energy and joy on set, and we really wanted to capture that. It really felt like the best collaboration I've ever had with an actor. My crew, too, they all felt the same way. We wanted to do everything we could to get as many shots as we could because it was such a special performance. Something else magical happened on that shot too. We brought down the light to adjust a gel and the light was on the ground and it just looked really good where it was. So we just rolled with it like that. That's something I take pride in actually, is not always doing the most correct thing, but if something feels right, just roll on it and just go with it. And it's one of my favorite shots. It's really important to come in with a strong idea of what you want to do. But I also think it's really important to be open to what other people are saying to you, to see what a performance does. I think you have to be flexible. You've got to really feel what is the right thing to do and go with it. Cinco Paul comes from a background of animation. He did Despicable Me and Minions, so he's used to knowing exactly how he's telling the story. What I didn't realize at first, the previs that he was showing us, that's how he wanted to shoot it. You know, sometimes we would only shoot wide shots. And I think for choreography, it's really important to see full body. I've done plenty of musicals, and usually what happens is you shoot the choreography head to toe, and then you get to play, you go in and you do shots that move, and you do tighter shots. What I noticed from all my research was a lot of the early Technicolor films were quite bright and flat, but I wanted to have more of a modern look. I worked with Jill and my gaffer, and we came up with this Technicolor look that still had lots of color separation information, but it's got a softer light and more of a rich contrast. We used Sony Venice 2 and ZEISS Radiance Primes. They were the perfect lens. I've always loved the Supreme Primes, but with the Radiance, I love them even more. The way I can haze the lens slightly and lift the contrast when I want to. I love the flares that I get. I love that they feel a little bit more vintage. We wanted something that was vintage because it's a period film. We actually ended up choosing a set of vintage lenses and carrying Radiance lenses as well. The thing about the Radiance lenses is they're reliable and I always know exactly what I'm getting. If I don't want the flare, I can flag that flare off. I know they're not going to blow out when I point up at a hot sky or if I'm pointing at a hot light. It's just such a rich kind of image, and I'm in love with the out of focus pattern in the background. After shooting for about 2 weeks, I would put up the vintage lens and then I'd go, no, I think I want the Radiance. And after 2 weeks, we realized we weren't using the vintage lenses and we sent them back. When you have production design, you have choreography, you have music, it's just also next level. And then you've got these performances and these like A++ actors. You really want to see it all. You don't want to hide any of it. Most of my job is just doing justice to what the production design, the costumes, and the actors are doing.